What's going on, everybody? It's Zach, back again with another TIFF review. I saw two movies today. The first movie I saw was Christie, and the second movie I saw was Elvis Presley EPiC, or EPiC Elvis Presley, colon. There's probably a colon somewhere in there, maybe a semicolon, not quite sure. But this is, if you're living under a rock, a documentary about the rock star Elvis Presley. He's a little popular. You may have heard of him. It's directed by a man named Baz Luhrmann, who I have a great affection for. I think that Baz is one of the greatest directors working today. And I was a really big fan of the Elvis movie. I think that what him and Austin Butler were able to achieve there was just like pure cinema magic. And I've always been a really big fan of Baz's kind of like madcap ADHD filmmaking style, where it's all very bombastic and big all the time. And so when he announced that he would be premiering a Elvis documentary at the festival, I saw that tickets were only about $15. So I figured, why not? I'll give it a shot. And I went in with relatively low expectations, I'm going to be honest. And I sat next to a critic whose name I did not catch, so I apologize in advance. But so he told me that he has been coming to this festival for about 20 years, and this is easily in the top 3 screenings he had ever been to, this EPiC premiere screening, the Presley documentary that I'm talking about. Baz Luhrmann was there. He introed the film, and there was a Q&A at the end of the film with his audio engineer, who also produced the movie with Baz. And it was just, now the movie itself reminded me a lot of the Brett Mortigan documentary about David Bowie that came out a couple years ago, Moon Age Daydream. It's kind of like a blend of like real life interview footage of Elvis kind of talking about his state of mind and his kind of like headspace at that time. And then there'll be like a performance of a really iconic Elvis song. And by the time that the song Suspicious Minds was played, the entire theater, it was like a fucking concert. I genuinely, like I said a couple seconds ago, I went into this with absolutely no expectations. I honestly didn't think I was going to like it very much. And this turned into one of the most rapturous, enjoyable experiences in a theater I think I've ever had in my 22 years of living. Absolutely fucking just electric stuff of pure proof that there will never be a man like Elvis ever again. Like, there was a title card at the end of the documentary that said Elvis never left North America, and that is so insane to me because everybody knows who Elvis is. He has so much reach, and like, it's just the power of music, I guess, not to sound like a hippie, but it's the power of music. And I really, really think that that's beautiful. And it was a really, one moment in particular, at the end of the Q&A, this is how the screening ended. There was a woman in the front row who had mentioned that she had been to the concert that was depicted in the film that we had just seen, and she paid Elvis's bodyguard to get up to the front row, and she held his hand, and she began crying, and Baz Luhrmann hugged her and gave her the mic and let her have her few minutes of, I guess, fame, because like there were people filming. I'm sure it's going to become a viral video at some point. But like I said, overall, This is going to be a quick review because, like, I don't really have much to say other than it was just, like, a really transformative experience. Or not transformative, but just one of the greatest theatrical experiences I think I've ever had. Baz Luhrmann, I Love You Forever. Just absolutely impeccable style with the fucking bedazzled Elvis belt buckle that he had on. Just incredible fits going on with him. If I were to rate this as a documentary, I'd probably give it like 3.5 out of 5. But as an experience, I'd give it a 4.5. Just people getting up in the aisles and singing these songs and clapping along, and there were people that were lighting their lighters and sticking in the air, and it genuinely felt like I was at an Elvis concert. This is the closest I will ever get to seeing Elvis perform live. And I loved it. And so thank you for listening to me ramble about the new Baz Luhrmann film. I really, really enjoyed myself. Now, I must go sleep. I have recorded 2 reviews. I'm going to give the same outro twice. I just said at the beginning of the first review I recorded, I'm going to go sleep now. But then I decided to record this review. So, like I said, 3.5 out of 5. If you are at the festival, please go see this movie. If you can. They are playing it in the Scotiabank IMAX, which, holy fucking shit. If you can get into that, do it. Because that would go insanely hard in the Scotiabank IMAX room. So if you are at the festival and you're looking for something to watch, and the Elvis Presley Baz Luhrmann documentary, or like the Baz Luhrmann directed Elvis Presley documentary fits in your festival schedule, give it a watch. But yeah, please like, share, and subscribe, and the next review will be Roofman. That's my next screening tomorrow at 10 a.m. But yeah, alright, I'm gonna go sleep for real this time. I almost fell asleep recording this. I will talk to you guys in the next review. 3.5 out of 5, like I said. Elvis, really good stuff. Recommend it. Toodles.